foods that we should have before our workout.
When I swam, to a certain extent, but when I ran, I really couldn't have anything in my stomach. So it comes down to what people are comfortable with.
Benefits of having exact amount of protein and the side effects of having excess amount of protein.
Most of your proteins are in the muscle. So you need that to maintain your muscle health and your muscle sort of
Push beyond your limits.
Yep.
That's why we are all focused on just pushing our body to the limit.
Yes. And again, you have to push to get results, but you also have to care for your body.
A straight 7 to 8 hours of sleep window for a full sleep is
If you're used to doing that 4 hours and 4 hours, if you can get that deep sleep into that point in time, napping is awesome. Sometimes, yes.
Can you please tell me some of the foods that we should have before our workout?
Again, that's really dependent on the person. I like when I was doing was doing triathlons, stuff like that. I didn't eat a lot before I went out, especially when I went to run. On the bike, I could eat beforehand. When I swam, to a certain extent, but when I ran, I really couldn't have anything in my stomach. So it comes down to what people are comfortable with. So again, you can't really say, oh, don't eat this, you have to eat this, don't eat this, have to eat this, you have to eat, rice, or you have to eat pasta, or you have to eat steak, or whatever. Again, it's personal preference. It's really hard to isolate. But
I'm having a doubt. So if a person is going to do a 30 to 45 minutes of workout, that person should have carb as a fuel source.
yes,
And if the person is going for a workout section more than 1 hour, then fats should be his fuel source.
fats will be the fuel source, but you don't need to load fats.
Oh, fine.
Because you have endless amounts of fat stores in your body. So you don't need to say, okay, I'm going to go do an endurance run, so I need to load my fats. You still need to load your carbs. So your carbs will give you your initial 30 minutes, and then you'll use less of them, but you still need them for the duration of your activities. So again, I had a teacher, and I still remember this 30 some odd years ago, when we did our exercise physiology, and he said, fats burn in a carbohydrate flame. So when you still need, even though you're using fats as your primary fuel source, you have to have glucose present for the carbs for the fats to be able to burn.
What are the benefits of having exact amount of protein and the side effects of having excess amount of protein?
Most of your proteins are in the muscles. So you need that to maintain your muscle health and your muscle sort of mechanisms of movements, and that actin and myosin fibers and all that stuff. If you cut proteins out, your body will, again, you have to maintain homeostasis. So it will actually break down muscle tissue to release the protein, those amino acids. And that's a negative component.
So excess proteins are really harmful.
So excess are as well. So what will happen is, if I'm eating large amounts of proteins, your body will actually start to use them as a fuel source. One of the processes with, again, amino acids are held together by what's referred to as a nitrogenous base. There's a nitrogen molecule that holds the amino acids together. So when you use the amino acids as a fuel source, the nitrogen is a waste material. It's the harmful component of it, is the release of the nitrogen and having that excess nitrogen in the body, and it becomes the harmful component of it.
All we hear is like work hard,
Yep.
push beyond your limits.
Yep.
So that's why we are all focused on just pushing our body to the limits.
Yes. And again, you have to push to get results, but you also have to care for your body. You can't push and push and push and push and push and never allow for that recovery. So rest is actually a very important component to overall health. You have to allow the tissues to recover from the stress that you're imposing. You don't stop your activities, you're going to fatigue. And again, when you're tired, when you're fatigued, it leads to possibilities of increase of injuries. And again, you can't push as hard as you would normally. So recovery is a very big component of it as far as performance, but also as far as reducing injury possibilities.
So a straight 7 to 8 hours of sleep window or a split sleep is beneficial.
Again, I think that longer period, because you can get into that deeper sleep, and it's when you get into that real deep REM, that deeper sleep component of it, your body actually repairs itself. But if you're used to doing that 4 hours, then 4 hours, if you can get that deep sleep in through that point in time, napping is awesome.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. But yeah, that overall mechanism, just really allowing your body to sort of feel rested and having that recovery process. So again, that longer duration of sleep is more effective for most people. But some people, again, their biological processes, they sleep for 3 or 4 hours and then they're awake. And then they'll sleep later on. So some people don't, it's hard to get that 7-8 hours of sleep. They're used to their activities, used to this. They're working a job and then they've got to do this and they got kids. So they're not going to bed before 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And then I've got to get up at 5 in the morning if I want to do my workout because all this stuff. So it changes with environment.
Creatine.
Yep.
The most sensational supplement right now in the fitness industry. So why creatine is so beneficial and what are the other supplements which are beneficial for us?
Creatine is, again, sort of your body produces it and that gives you that phosphate storage area so it can rebuild ATP. So by supplementing the amount of creatine that you naturally produce with, again, synthetic, allows you to store more phosphates in the body, which allows you to get more instant energy production. So by increasing that, you can get better energy production immediately. So that phosphocreatine system is going to donate the phosphate.
So what are the other supplements which are really good for us?
Again, if somebody's doing very hard, intense stuff, then again, amino acids, because again, that's a protein substrate. So by ingesting amino acids, it allows the body to recover from the activities more efficiently as well. So again, amino acids, and they've been around for years. But again, doing the protein supplements, it's basically you're getting the amino acids into the body. So those, especially when you're, again, very hard, intense strength activities into there. So amino acids are one of them. Again, sort of doing electrolyte components as well. That's really important, especially when you're doing more longer duration components. You're sweating out your electrolytes. So supplementing that electrolyte component, sodiums, potassiums, magnesiums, allows for the muscles to continue to work without cramping. So it decreases that. It allows for more efficient movement of water through the body, keeping the body hydrated and keeping those, again, the muscles and the nerves from going into that cramp component of it. So electrolytes are really important when you're doing, especially longer duration stuff or outside in the heat.
So let's talk about the biggest fitness myths that you ever heard in your life.
Again, again, you hear all kinds of stuff, but again, some of them are, children shouldn't lift weights. Children shouldn't do resistance training. Again, that theory has sort of been proven wrong over time, and some people still stick with that. But again, children, they're playing sports, they're doing physical activity, they're doing that stuff. There's nothing wrong with them doing resistance training. Again, sensible resistance training. If they can follow the proper rules and they understand why what they're doing and doing the movement patterns, doing all that stuff, there's no problem having them doing a resistance training program. Again, you don't want to load them up with massive amounts of weight, but you don't want, again, there's no reason why they don't do that, not to sort of participate in that. Again, the other one that goes along with that was, if you lift weights too young, it will stunt your growth. Again, complete fallacy. As long as you're doing it sensibly, you're not changing your bony growth patterns into that. It's not going to affect that. Again, females, if they're working out, will become muscle bound or over muscle. Again, if they work to that extreme, then yes, they're going to develop muscles, but
without the testosterone, I don't think.
Again, you have to do the different sort of body compositions. But yes, they will get, again, increased growth, of the muscles, increased size, increased strength. But again, you're not going to be these.
Abnormal, right?
No. And what else is there's again, older people shouldn't do it. You shouldn't run because it's bad for your knees. There's all kinds of them out there.
I think most of the doctors will say the same. If you have a back pain, so stop going to the gym.
Yeah. Whereas it's not stop going to the gym, but do what you're doing properly and figure out why that issue's there.
Yeah, because right now there is a sensational video going on Instagram that a 70 or 75 years old lady who is doing a deadlift, who was having a history of back pain, and the doctor was advised that you should not do the movements and you are not able to walk or go to a gym, and you should take rest. And right now the old lady is lifting around 100 kgs deadlift.
Yeah, with no back pain.
With no back pain.
Yeah. Your body adapts to the stresses. So again, if you're sensible with what you're doing and you move through there and figure out, again, there's a reason why things hurt.
Again,
and if you ignore that sort of cause, then yes, it's going to hurt. But the activity typically is not causing the problem, as long as you're doing it properly and sensibly.
Is there any dangerous exercise?
I don't think there's dangerous exercises. It's either doing the movement improperly or having too much weight when you're doing the movement. But again, people say, well, deadlifts are bad. Well, no, deadlifts are okay as long as you do the movement properly. People say, well, squats are bad because you're putting muscle, But squats, if you're doing it properly, is not putting pressure on the back. And again, as long as the weight is sensible. So I don't think there's specific, this is a bad exercise, that's a bad exercise. It's a bad exercise if you're not doing it properly or you're lifting too much weight for the movement pattern you're doing. So it's more not doing it properly as opposed to, well, that's a bad exercise. Again, strengthening is good.
So any exercise is really bad if it is not performed in the right way.
Yes. Yep. And all exercises are good if it's done properly with the proper amount of weight. So if you're,
So smart workout, like a sensible workout.
Yeah, 100%.
I really need to know about genetics.
Okay.
To be frank, genetics is an asshole. I'm really sorry to say that because I feel so. I am a person who is doing workout for last 11 years, and if I post my workout for 1 week, I'll be back to my skinny bitch. I'm really sorry for that. I'm saying it because I will be back to my skinny body type all because of my genetics. I think so. So, why?
Again, genetics determines everything. So again, muscle bulk, muscle size, muscle fiber types. So again, when we look at elite level athletes, their genetics predisposes them to be an elite level athlete. So say, if you're an elite level athlete, thank your parents because it's their genes that have allowed you to do that. So again, if we look at elite level athletes, so again, Usain Bolt as a sprinter, again, he is an elite level athlete because his genetics have predisposed his muscle types to be these fast twitch, anaerobic, explosive muscles. These, again, marathon runners, Chipogi, whatever the different sort of marathon runners. Again, their genetics have allowed them to have these very effective, slow twitch muscle fibers that are oxidative off the charts to bring in oxygen and be able to do aerobic activities, and they're running 2-hour marathons. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But if you were to take Usain Bolt, who is an elite level athlete, and say, okay, we want you to run a marathon, he is not going to run a 2-hour marathon.
Yeah.
He can train and become and compete it and finish it, but he'll never be elite as that marathon runner. And the same idea with the marathon runners. They can run 100 meters, but they're never going to be in that 10-second range. They don't have the muscle fiber. So genetics predisposes so much. Again, you're going to have, 2 or 3 people doing the same workout, and one person's muscles become, that hypertrophy is massive. Another person lifts the same amount of weight, but they don't have the bulk component of it. Again, the strength is there, the size difference has changed. So genetics predisposes, again, all of our stuff. And
really
you
good.
can't change your genetics as much as you might want to, but again, it definitely does predispose you for specific things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Genetics. It's
Yep.
all about
Sucks.
genetics.
It
No,
sucks.
I don't want to say it again. Anyway, so what's the one health advice that you will give to everyone?
It's never too late.
Oh, that's really good.
Yep.
Why so?
It's never too late to start your physical activity journey. You can be sedentary and start doing it at 30. You can be sedentary, start doing it at 40. It's never too late to get the benefits. Again, you may have a lifetime of non-activity, so you may not, again, be a high-level component or competitor of something, but it's never too late to start your activity. The benefits are going to be, there's going to be an outcome. So starting resistance training, again, you lose a certain percentage of your muscle density every decade. By doing resistance training, you slow that progression down. As you get older, you get loss of, again, bone density. By doing physical activities, that stress and the sort of process of the activity actually gets more absorption of calcium into the bones. So you slow that process down. Adaptations of the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, they will occur at any point in time. So yeah, it's never too late to start.
Yeah, that was a good one. And that was the end, and we can wind up with one last question. So what's your advice for us, the Cheers Fit?
Yeah, I mean, I really, the concept is great.
Oh,
Again, the fitness is important, but enjoying the journey. So again, sometimes you get people that are so concerted or so concentrating on, well, I have to do this workout, I have to get this, I have to get this. They forget that they should enjoy what they're doing. So the process, that component of, yes, enjoying the moment, getting fulfillment from what you're doing, at the same time having that sort of increased physical fitness aspect of it is amazing.
Thank you
It's great to put them together because you don't see that. Typically it's, okay, this is a social component, well, this is a workout component of it. So bringing them together or meshing that together is a great concept. It's amazing to see that component. And I think, again, your followers or people that are going to sort of be involved with that process are going to get the benefit of not only the physical activity, the fitness, the health, but also that social component of it, that, again, that mental aspect of it, the social aspect of it, that relief or release component of it as well. So you're not just driving that, physical. It's enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it rather than not, sort of pushing yourself all the time. So yeah, that sort of connection between the two, I think is very, a really good idea. And I don't think a lot of other places or other components incorporate that.
Yeah.
So bringing them together like that is great.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Thank
a
you for
very
that.
neat
Yeah.
concept. I really like that when
Yeah, thank
we
you.
were talking about it there. That enjoy it and get the benefit physical. So you're getting both components.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe we
it's
can
great.
have a beer after the podcast. Yeah.
And
because-
enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy. Because we are only having one life.
Exactly.
We should.
Yes.
We should.
Yep. And you need to enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it. Again, if you're not, then it becomes a drag, right? It sort of weighs on you. So, and again, it's whether it's job, whether it's your occupation, whether it's what you're
Peace of
involved in.
mind is.
Yeah. You again, it's a long life, and you have to have fun.
Yeah.
And that's